Hello, good morning. Today I'll be talking about the drying process in the paper industry. So here we'll be taking the topic of the drying of paper on multi-cylinder drying process. So you can see here in the multi-cylinder drying process, we are having the two stacks of the dryer. One is in the upper side and second one in the lower side. So in this way, normally 20 to 30 dryer cylinders will be in the upper stack and 20 to 30 cylinder will be in the lower stack, depending on the requirement of the drying capacity. If the speed of machine is higher, again, if the GSM of paper is more, paper is having the more capacity to hold the water, that means it's being made by the high degree SR pulp, and the degree SR of the pulp is more, generally the removal of water will be difficult. And once the removal of water is difficult, that means we require more number of the drying cylinders, more drying capacity is required. So you can see here, and the paper is moving from the lower cylinder to upper cylinder in the upper stack. It's a changing the phase. So first of all, in the lower side, one side of the paper will be coming in contact of the paper. Then it's going to the upper cylinder. So again, it's reversing the phase, and another side will be coming in contact of the hot surface. So basically, the dryer cylinders made of the metal here, and paper is flowing and moving in between the dryer felt and the surface of the dryer cylinder. And we are feeding the steam. You can see here there are two lines. So one line will be for the feeding of the steam. So steam is going inside, and generally it's having the temperature more than, you can say, the 140 degrees Celsius, depending on the requirement. And it's going even up to nearby to 200 or 220 degrees Celsius temperature. And it's saturated and slightly unsaturated steam here. So because the latent heat will be maximum for the saturated steam at a given temperature. At the same time, once we are increasing the temperature above the saturation point, normally the specific volume will be increasing. That means the volume per unit mass will be increasing here. So even if you are maintaining the high flow rate in terms of the volumetric flow rate, because the volume is fixed, the cylindrical volume is fixed here. So steam will be going inside the cylinder. Cylinder is volume is fixed. Certainly, we need the higher density of the steam so that the mass flow rate will be more, because whatever the heat we are getting, that is based on the mass and the heat content in the steam. So if you are taking the L is the latent heat of the steam and M is the mass flow rate, then per unit time we'll be getting the M into L amount of the steam. Take for example, the latent heat content, or you can say simply we take the enthalpy of the steam here. It's 2200 kilojoule per kg. Then depending on the higher mass flow rate, if the mass flow rate is 10 kg per second here, it will directly multiplied by 10. So 2200 multiplied by 10. So it will be nearly 22,000 kilojoule per second here. That means the target is to increase the mass flow rate, M, and second one is to increase the enthalpy of the steam. At the same time, it's just slightly above the saturation point, saturation temperature. And what will be happening once it's losing the heat to the colder side, heat will be transferred by the, you can see here in the metal by conduction and then by convection process to the paper. right? So once it's losing the slightly heat energy, its the temperature will be going down, and during the process of lowering of the temperature, its temperature will be going below the saturation temperature, and it will be converting the phase from the gas phase to the liquid phase. And once it's converting the phase from gas to liquid phase, basically the lot of the heat energy will be liberated here. It will be coming out. That's mainly because of the it's coming from the high phase to the lower phase, from gas phase to the liquid phase here. Right, and that's why we have to maintain the nearby to saturation temperature only, slightly above saturation. So it is easily converting to the liquid phase and liberating lot of the heat of vaporization, you can say here, that is required to vaporize the water in the liquid phase to the gaseous phase. So water is taking the energy when it's converting from liquid phase to gas phase, and when it's coming back from gas phase to liquid phase, it will be liberating the huge quantity of the energy, and that energy is required to be used by the paper here in the drying process. So you can see here the steam is going from this thick line to the gaseous phase, so a lot of the volume will be required. Once it's going inside, losing the its heat of vaporization and the slight amount of the sensible heat, then it's again converting to the liquid phase, that is called as a condensate, and this condensate will be taken out with the help of the siphoning system and coming out with the this black line you can see here in the center point, and it will be taken out. And that's basic working here. It's rotating continuously at certain RPM to maintain the speed of the paper machine. So higher is the paper machine speed, you can calculate the RPM, that will be depending on the diameter of the dried cylinder. And higher is the diameter of the cylinder, higher will be the distance that will be covered per RPM here. And in this fashion here, basically again the paper is stretchable in nature to some point. So paper is being stretched by 3 to 4%. And that's why the once we are moving in the forward direction in the process of drying, we have to increase the velocity, or you can say the speed of the dryer here. And that's why we are making the different groups of the dryers here. So normally you can see here, it's showing the 2 cylinders in the bottom one. But so having the group of the 4 to 5 cylinder in the top, this is called the one group, and 4 to 5 cylinder in the bottom. So normally grouping can be done by the feeding of the steam of different pressure and different temperature, because temperature is again associated with the pressure only. And the second point is can be grouped by the differential velocity, because as I told you, as you are moving from the press section to the final hope reel, where the dried paper is coming out and wrapped in the form of the reel, basically the due to the stretchable quality of the paper, the velocity will be increasing. Right, so we can increase the velocity, and by different groups, we are making the 4 or 5 groups, and we can increase the velocity here by 0.5% or 1% in each group. So you can maintain the relative velocity, and paper will not be going slack. It should be stretched and in the form of the totally straight flow. Otherwise, there will be the folding problem, crease problem, it will have the flattering effect, and the paper will be creasing here. So it should be having the good stretch and having the proper straight flow in the forward direction in the cylinder. Alternately, it's moving from lower cylinder to upper cylinder and reversing the side. You can see in the diagram here we are seeing this rope-like structure on the side. This is basically for carrying the paper strip while it's being moved on the forward cylinders. So paper will be trapped here, and slowly the rope, the carrier rope, it's called as a carrier rope, generally made of the nylon, and it will be able to carry the paper strip in the forward direction. So first of all, we're taking the strip of 5 or 10 inches width only, and it is being trapped in between the ropes, and rope will be carrying it with the dryer cylinders in this fashion, and then we are slowly widening the width of the paper. So it will covering the whole width on the dryer cylinder. Right. The another important point is the basically the paper is covered by the felt when it is in contact of the dryer cylinder. You can see here. So basically 4 to 5 dryers are covered in one dryer felt. So felt is having the two purpose. One is to provide the support to the paper, and second one is it will provide the insulating media again. So the heat will be moving from dryer surface to the paper, but will not be moving from the paper to the nearby surrounding air, because it's covered by the felt. Felt should be having the good insulating quality, and that will save the heat energy. The another point is when the felt is having the very tight grip on the dryer cylinders, because of the felt coverage here, it will reduce the gap between the paper and the dryer cylinder, hot surface, metal surface or dryer. And by having the pressurized contact with the help of the press felt, the paper will be having the good contact with the metal surface, and the heat energy will be easily coming, because it will lower the thickness of the air layer. The air, thin layer of the air will be present in between the paper and the dryer surface. So higher is the pressure from top, the thickness will be less, and that will increase the heat conductivity, and it will help in the drying by convection process also. Because the one layer that is here is the very bad conductor of the heat, or it is again acting like the insulating media. So our task should be to reduce the thickness of the air. So there are two layers of air. One is the in-between metal surface and paper, and second one from the paper and the press dryer felt surface. It is very much similar to the press working again. So having the press also, we are having the felt, then paper, and then the solid surface. But there the removal is by the mechanical pressing. Water is shifting from the paper to the press felt. But here the water is not shifting from the paper to dryer felt. Here the felt is providing the insulating air, and that will be helping in heating of the paper. And once it's coming out of the felt contact, like here, in this area, you can see here nearly is having the 2 to 3 feet area here, in which it is not in contact of the felt. It's not covered by the felt surface on one side. So both the side of the paper will be open. And when both the side of the paper is open, a lot of the water vaporization will be there, because it's already having the high temperature. Once it's coming out of the dryer surface contact, and the temperature will be high, so the water that is present in the paper will be converting to the vapors, gaseous phase, and through the pores it will be coming out. And once it's coming out, you'll find a lot of the vapors here, water vapors separating from the paper, and these water vapors will be taken by the dry air. So we are feeding here, the pocket ventilation system is there. You can see here we are having the system. This one will be blowing the dry air, which is having the very less moisture. So all the moisture vapors will be carried by this dried air, and it will be continuously maintaining the good dryness in this area. That's a closed area. Basically, it's covered by the paper on both the sides. It's a closed area. So we are not removing the vapors water vapors from here, it will be again condensing and coming down on the drum surface or on the paper surface. It's very much required to remove the vapors from here. Right. Another important point is the contact area. Basically, you can see the nearby to 3/4 area of this drum is being covered by the paper, and 1/4 is nearly it's open. Alright, so during the calculation of number of dryers, you can consider this much of the area and then do the calculation depending on the requirement of the how much area is required to dry the paper from 50% of the dryness to the 95% of the dryness at a given speed, because time is again very important, because higher is the machine speed, less time will be available for heating of the paper. Even if we are having the high temperature of the drum, but the time is less, so the heating will be less here, evaporation will be lowering with the increase of the machine speed. And that's why at the high speed machine, number of dryer cylinders will be increased to increase the timing that is given for the dryness process. Another important point here is the surface of the dryer should be very smooth. There should not be any lining, any grooves, or any type of the defects like the pit holes and others, because paper is directly coming in contact with the dryer surface. If there is any lines or grooves on the surface, generally that is found in the old machines, old dryer cylinders on the sides here, on the both the sides, because the continuous running of the paper, it will be creating the lining, and those lines or grooves will be again giving the impression to the paper. So it will come in the paper. So it's required to remove those lines or grooves in the dryer cylinders, and that's why we are giving the mechanical treatment for smoothing of the surface of the dryer. Right. So another important, very important point is the efficient removal of the condensate here, because once the condensate is coming here, some portion will be filled with the condensate here, so the space that will be available for the steam will be less inside the dryer. So we have to remove continuously the condensate so that the maximum space should be available for the steam. It will be continuously flowing, losing the heat, it's giving the heat to the paper and then converting to the condensate. A condensate being taken out continuously. So number of processes are there for removal of the condensate, and most efficient process of condensate removal, like the siphoning process, the siphons are being used, and that will be having the better effect on the removal of the condensate. Because once the condensate is stored here, because the rotation of the drum, it will be again making the rotation here, it will be going along with the drum surface and giving the one layer of the condensate water on the inner surface of the drum. That will be again acting like the insulating media and create the hindrance in the flow of the heat energy. Right, so we have to remove the maximum condensate. Continuous efficient removal is required here for getting the better drying efficiency and lowering the consumption of the steam. So generally we are using the 3 to 5 kg of the steam per kg of the paper that is being dried here, and that's why it's a costly process. So water removal on the wire section is the cheapest one, easiest one, then press section, and then dryer section. So one important problem you can say that is being faced by the engineers in the dryer section is cockling problem. That is mainly because of the uneven heating or very high heating of the drum surface. So in the paper is coming in contact, it will be having the swelling on the surface. It's an uneven turn on the surface, so looking like the cockling problems here. So basically it's having the swelling and paper will be uneven structure, you can say by touching it, you can find the roughness on the surface of the paper, because mainly because of the high temperature, uneven temperature maintained on the drum surface, some portion will have in the coupling effect. Second one is the blackening problem in the dryer surface. If you are directly coming to the very high temperature in the dryer, sometimes the steam pressure is fluctuating, or take for example, it's coming in the form of the superheated steam. Pressure is same, but temperature is very high. And then again, it will increase the temperature of the drum, and because of the higher temperature, again there will be the blackening, the burning of the some of the top surfaces, top layers of the fibers will be taking place, and it will be causing the blackening effect. That's called as the paper blackening. That is mainly coming from the drying process because of the high temperature of the surface. So we are continuously measuring the surface temperature. It should be having the gradual increase of the temperature. That's a very much required. And second one is again the tension in between the roll. That means where the groups are changing from first to second group, and we are increasing the speed to maintain the proper stretch. Then again the stretch should not be too high to break the paper. Otherwise, sometimes it will be breaking the paper, and that will lose the production hour, productivity of the plant. Right. So another important characteristic, the press felt is important. Similarly, here the dryer felt is important. A lot of the innovation and design work is being done for the dryer felts. It should be having the good insulating, very high insulating can say, but should the inner surface should be very much smooth, so that it should not be giving any mark or impression on the surface of the paper, because paper is not completely dry, it's a semi-dried 50-60% dryness, so it's very much delicate, and whatever the impression is coming in the form of any point, line, any groove, that will be basically permanent in the paper. So surface should be very smooth. Again, the life should be very high. And another important point, when it's running for 3, 4, or 5 months, certainly it should not be stretched, it should not be slackening, loosening should not be there. So it should maintain its texture, its original length and width. That's very much required. Again, we are having the tension roll here, even if there is a very good quality, but with the running times, certainly some of the loosening effect will be coming out. So tension rolls are there that will maintain the proper tension in the felt, and that is required to have the good dry efficiency by maintaining the close contact with the dryer surface.